Hello. Don't you hate, like, before bed when you have this great idea and next day you're, like, trying to remember everything that you thought of? Hello, and welcome to the channel. My name's Josh. Today is day 7 of this little challenge I've been doing. And today's supposed to be a day of reflection, which, while reflecting, not just on the last 7 days, but also the last time I gave this whole YouTube thing a solid go about, 5-6 years ago. I made some good videos then, but thinking back, I kind of learned some lessons, and it wasn't just from that, it was from other things in life too. So, what I'm going to talk about, which is, the problems with being outcome focused. I feel like they apply to many things in life, not just YouTube. So, what was it? So, back in about 2016-ish was my first kind of go around trying to do this YouTube thing. This is probably around the time that you were seeing a lot of these other creators like Maddie and Peter McKinnon and Casey Neistat coming up, and everyone wanted to kind of be like these vloggers and kind of reap on this vlogging trend where everyone was getting followers and people would just follow you for everything that you're doing in life. And of course at that time, since I have cameras and stuff, I do photography and I have done video. I've done few short films for editing. And so that was kind of the niche I was trying to get into. Needless to say, and this is going to kind of play into anything, it was something I was interested in. It wasn't necessarily something I cared about. So, around the time, and I gotta look up this guy's name because it's been a while since I've seen him on YouTube. Cody Weiner. So around this time, I was kind of a part of this group called No Small Creator, which was by Cody Weiner, and he kind of popped up with this whole idea of like small creators supporting each other. And this is where things kind of started to become apparent to me as I was kind of going through this process. And you had all these people that were like, oh, like, we're small creators, we need to support each other, which, you know what, I'm all for that. I'm all for everyone trying to kind of support and raise everyone up. But what I saw then was kind of this inherent problem with the idea. And a big part of that was this whole idea of being outcome focused versus process focused. So I'll be honest, something I've started to do differently this time with, say, this channel was that I decided that I wasn't going to advertise it at all, which means whatever following I get on here was organically grown from what I was producing. And the reason for that was, one, there's a lot of stress that comes from trying to advertise, ask your friends for support and everything like that, and then trying to get around all the social media stuff. But two, it really detracts from actually trying to make a good product, actually trying to make a good video, actually trying to talk about good quality things that people are going to care about, things that are actually going to connect you to your audience. And so like this time I'm just not doing it. If whoever comes here and follows me, if one of my friends happens to find me and then wants to follow me, then supports me, then great. I appreciate it, just like I appreciate everyone else. But for the most part, going out and asking for it, asking people to follow you, it's like, why should I and why should they? Like, what are they getting out of it by coming around? And then if they do come around and support you, they're probably not even watching your videos, right? Like, why should I follow someone or subscribe to someone whose content really has no value for me? And so, yeah, this was kind of this whole issue I saw, which was, it's kind of like, in my mind, the same thing as doing something just to get rich. If you want to start getting into like a career field or anything, if you're doing it just to get rich, then that itself is kind of a problem. Eventually, one, you're going to get disappointed. It's the same thing with followers. Even if you had like 100 people who are other small creators, family members, friends who came and followed you, and you still didn't make good content, right? That 100 followers doesn't get you any closer to any more. And so this, and what that does is it would create, at least for me, kind of this frustration and disappointment of like, when am I going to get there? When am I going to actually start to, have things grow? Versus now looking at things from a more process perspective. And this is, again, a niche topic that came up a lot around the time when, again, like Peter McKinnon became big, Casey Neistat was like becoming all the rage, even though he was kind of all the rage for a little while because he started well before YouTube. But everyone talked about the process. It's like, oh well, just enjoy the process. The process is just simply the stage for me, like where you are in the present, right? Being in the process. And this is same thing with life that I have found, and this is really where it hit home, was with life. We've all heard the saying, it's like, I'll do it when, or when I get my shot, or I'll be happy when, I think is an even bigger one, because you're expecting something else to give your life meaning, for a certain outcome or event to give your life meaning, rather than just giving your life meaning now, doing something that you care about, and then letting that kind of guide you through life to continue to do the things that draw you and make you feel passionate about something. I think that's the difference. That right there is the process. It's finding something that it doesn't matter as much whether it turns into something or not, but it would be great if it did. And yes, and so yes, it is great to think about taking something and turning it into something useful, such as, okay, like, we'll take this for example. I want this to become a good teaching platform. I want this to be able to inspire and educate, and even just share, right? To have people kind of interact with and get involved with and connect with other people, and to do that as part of my reason for doing this. But I can either think about the outcome of, okay, how many people am I going to connect with? Which in this case, I've decided to try and focus on, there's probably only one person watching at a time, so I'm going to worry about one person at a time. Or I can focus more on the process of creating the environment that will allow me to connect with other people. And focus on creating the environment, is a continuous process. It's not necessarily a destination, but it's more the direction. And this is something I got from one of my friends, is that idea. It's direction and not destination. Destination is the idea, the outcome, that you have to get to this certain point. You have to get to 1,000 followers. Then you have to get to 10,000 followers. Then you have to get to 1 million followers. And you can replace followers with anything. You can replace it with dollars, right? So to sit there and be like, it'll happen when, it becomes this bottomless pit, this cup that can never be filled. And you're always going to be on that track of, okay, well, I have to get the next thing, versus that will come. But in the meantime, I'm just going to do something that I enjoy that might get me there. And this kind of goes back to, I don't know if I talked about it on here, but this idea of this was one of the things I had an idea to talk about for a YouTube video. I don't think I shared it on here at all, but this idea of, it'll come back to me. This is ADHD brain. This idea of the law of attraction. And maybe I did talk about this. But the law of attraction, a lot of people like to talk about how, oh no, I shot it, but then I never posted. The law of attraction is, everyone talks about this kind of like mystical kind of thing. If you think about it, then, or you put your mind or you visualize it, then it'll happen. You put out vibes in the universe and whatnot, which we all know is complete like metaphysical nonsense. Now, what I think of the law of attraction is when you are driven to do something, right? It's based in action. Attraction is based in action. It's not based in thought or imagination or anything else or vibes. Yes, vibes can play the part, and that is more so about how you show up in certain environments and interactions, which require you to show up in the first place. But the law of attraction is, okay, you find something that you are interested in, and then you kind of dive into it and you start to pursue it. You try to learn about it. You practice like a craft. And then within that craft, or from practicing that craft, you start to meet other people within that craft, and then you share your interests, right? It's not, and again, this is all process, not outcome. You share that interest, and then eventually, because you've been practicing this craft, because you've been diving into it, say like, you could be a woodworker, filmmaker, this applies to everything. You eventually start to make things that are in themselves products. Maybe you're not selling them yet, and then someone sees that and then wants to either buy like your piece of furniture, or wants to hire you to do a photo shoot, or wants to hire you to do a film. And then eventually that leads to the next meeting and the next job, or the next gig, or the next project. And it's just that pursuit of constantly moving in that direction, which attracts opportunities to you, but it still requires you to step into those opportunities in order for that attraction to continue. So that to me is what I think is what the law of attraction is, and how that applies into this is, again, it's like it's a process focus. You're not thinking about like, oh, I'm going to be this big movie director, or I'm going to sell $10,000 river tables, right? You start with the beginning of just practicing and learning the craft first, and then you take that next step, and then the next step, and then the next step, and you just move in that direction wherever it takes you. It may not even take you in the direction you think, and that is where, again, being more direction focused, life can take you in different ways. For me, when I moved out to Colorado, I thought that I was going to come out here and do like adventure films, because I was big into climbing, mountain biking, everything, and I liked playing with cameras. And I was still kind of into that sphere of, making photos and videos. Obviously, I'm still kind of attracted to it, but my purpose for it is different. And so I got out here, and then I started to find myself having another calling. And that was moving towards, okay, well, I'm really good at talking with people. I'm really good at connecting with people. Some of my friends, and I mentioned this before, it's like I'm their free therapist. So eventually that led to me going through and actually pursuing my degree, which was something I cared about enough because this was my second round. First time was computer engineering, which again, it was, I'm interested in it, didn't really care about it. I didn't have a reason to care about it. Whereas now I'm trying to learn Python because I have a reason to care about it, because there's something I want to do with it. But that took me in a completely different direction. That if I was attached to a certain outcome, and yes, I will probably at some point in another video, we got jets. But at some point in another video, I will talk about attachment and detachment because, as much as I'm into psychology, I'm also into philosophy. If you didn't notice, I have a ton of books in the background, and there's a good reason for that because I get into a lot of books and learning about different concepts and ideas and philosophies and perceptions. And that is something I have truly grown to appreciate. So yes, I will talk about attachment and detachment in the future, but to enjoy the process, you kind of have to detach from the outcome. And when you detach from the outcome, it allows you to be more open to other possibilities and opportunities and to kind of follow your gut and your heart to where you might move to something that you actually care about. So kind of going back to this point of, doing this and not advertising. If you are someone who is trying to do something such as start a YouTube channel or, start a business, make $1 million, let go of that outcome. Start getting in and enjoying the process that may eventually lead to that outcome. And I say may because as you start to do this, you might find, much like I found with photography, I don't like dealing with clients. I don't like dealing with the contract process. And if I had enough money, I would hire someone else to do that. So, yeah, you might find out that this idea that you have, you don't enjoy. Now that said, you might get into it and find out you enjoy it completely. And then you'll go head first into learning everything about this thing that you want to do. Maybe it's stocks, right? Maybe it's day trading. And from that, or even contracting, right? Going out and building houses instead of just building furniture. And eventually that'll lead to those opportunities that will bring you the prosperity that you were hoping to seek. That's kind of my point on it. If you're trying to start, and especially with the YouTube channel thing, like don't ask people to support you. Don't ask larger accounts to give you shout outs because they have literally no reason to. Get into the nitty gritty. Like this is kind of what I'm doing here, right? This 30-day challenge, which I'll kind of talk about the reflection with that specifically in a second, but this 30-day challenge again was not to get followers. It is to kind of dive in and start to figure out, one, build the habit, which, still is going to take a little bit of time, but I'm at least getting to this point already where I am talking about, again, things I care about and not as much just random topics, which some of these I like and I kind of want to utilize. But instead of just sitting here and telling you, oh yeah, like here's what my thoughts were about the last week of just doing this. I would rather share an experience I had and a lesson in growth that I had that might help you. So don't ask for handouts. Get into it, build the product, get better at your craft, and then eventually the opportunities will come. Eventually the followers will start to flow in. Eventually the jobs will start to show up, and the money and the cash flow will start rushing into the bank. Is that exactly how it'll be? Probably not. You may not even make $1 billion, but to be honest, you could still make, maybe 6 figures and still be able to live comfortably and be financially free for the most part, doing something that you enjoy rather than doing something that you find out you hate, but you're more concerned about getting the money in the first place. So that is kind of my lesson on that. As for this little 30-day challenge, recording every day is tough. I think for this part of the process, for me, it is necessary because, again, getting to the point where instead of me just recording and not posting anything or coming up with ideas and then not even recording it or not even fleshing it out, or at least doing it versus trying to get it perfect first, this is necessary. It is, however, not sustainable. So for anyone who ever decides they want to try this challenge, or a challenge like this, I do feel like, yes, like the original challenges I've seen some people do where they only share it with a group or they don't post it at all. I don't feel like that is effective as doing like what I'm doing, which is actually going through the entire every step of the process to finishing it and sharing it and uploading it, because eventually you're going to be having to talk to someone on the other end of this camera. You're going to be talking to, someone who's watching this video on the opposite side of the screen. And if you go through this whole 30-day challenge and you're just keeping it for yourself and then you go trying on YouTube, you're basically going to start all over because now you are being watched. It's not just private. So for me, that's my personal recommendation if anyone decides that they want to try one of these challenges. Yes, it's great to go to groups and everything, and we can make the argument of what you want to post to YouTube and what you don't. You know what? The people who are going to want to show up and see you grow are going to show up, and they're right now the only ones that matter. And then down the road, as you get better, more people are going to discover you. That's my recommendation as far as this. But I don't think talking every day is sustainable. Even for a simple head talking video like this, it still takes a few hours. And me being ADHD, that also means that with the amount of energy it takes to just get on the camera and then do the editing, making the thumbnail, and then posting, sometimes by the time I'm done with that, I am feeling exhausted. And I am still trying to keep up with practicing this. I am still trying to keep up with other chores and tasks that I have, which I might just start including into videos, like cleaning out the garage and moving stuff to storage, which I have some thoughts and ideas around that too, right? Some perspectives. But yeah, I think if you are trying to do this, just go the whole way. But once you kind of get through and you've built a habit and everything, I can honestly say that by the time I'm done, I'm going to try to look at maybe once a week or once a month, depending on what my goals are. I would like to make more quality videos instead of just regular videos. And that's not to say that I can't come here and do a quick one. That might be a short 5-minute, quick thought, direct posting. But as of right now, is this exactly what I want to be doing? No. But I know it's necessary. So that's kind of my reflection as far as like the first week. It's not to say I don't enjoy it. It's just, it's work. It's a lot of work. But that's it for today. If you made it this far, at least all the way through the video, I appreciate you sticking around. Thank you. And yeah, questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section below. I'm always happy to have a conversation. I would like it if people left some sort of comment, because I would be happy to share them in the videos as well, and maybe even give my opinions on things or answer, like I said, questions in this format versus, just in the comment section itself. But yeah, other than that, if you like the video, hit like. If you didn't like it, go ahead, hit dislike. It's a free world. And if you'd like to keep up with the adventures, go ahead and hit subscribe. Go ahead and hit subscribe. But until tomorrow, when I decide to come back, we'll see you then. Peace. Hello.